Okay, and yep, and then Dominic Reyes, he just did. So I mean, he had a 2 fight loss streak before even going into this one. This was his retirement fight.
Right. He lost 6 out of his last 8.
And to lose it though in the first round is not. And then of course elbows. I can imagine. The fight was described as bloody. And then so let's see if we can just kind of see this. Now we kind of know these guys. There's no young and up and comer with. I don't remember what his streak was, but that was like 6 or 7, at least in a row. I think
it's at least 2 minutes, so we know it's a short fight, so it's not going to dilly-dally.
Yeah, I mean it's a 4-minute fight, 2 minutes here, and I mean with it being his last fight, you know he's gonna want just kind of like a good, clean fight. He doesn't probably care too much whether he wins or loses, but doesn't want to be knocked out.
Right. Yeah. Go out on the shield, I guess, either way.
Yeah. Yep, there it is.
Yeah,
Big.
must be one of those elbows over the top.
Exactly, and he's throwing elbows. The other guy's throwing. They both are. I mean, I guess he doesn't care. Last fight,
last ditch takedown attempt.
Not a good position.
No.
Slippery mat now.
Right.
Oh, jeez. Turtling up. It's basically over right there. Yeah, it was already over. He's given up.
It's bleeding everywhere. I mean, that's.
Oh man. Oh wow, that's hard.
Okay. That's really. It's a couple back to the head elbows there.
That is a lot of blood. Oh, I forgot about this.
That's what the one article was about.
Yeah. So that was another thing that I was curious about. It was like he flips off a fan, and I mean, clearly he's in a bad mood because he lost, but not sure why he's flipping off a fan. So, yeah, there it is. He reveals why he flipped off fan after retirement fight at UFC Kansas City. Retired following his loss to Zhang Mingyang at UFC Kansas City, but appeared he was ready for one more fight afterwards. With medical personnel tending to a nasty cut on the top of his head, that's what we saw.
Yeah.
It just poured blood into his face. Looked visibly angry as he tossed up double middle fingers at somebody sitting cage side. Repeatedly flipped off them in line of sight, and eventually got up off the Kansas and went to the cage where he continued shouting at them. During the UFC Kansas City post-fight show, Smith explained why he got so agitated that he was ready to delay his retirement to potentially throw a couple more punches. So let's see. He should have fought this dude in the crowd before. I mean, dude, after that, real bad look. That would be a really bad look.
I mean, it's his fan, so it's not some other fighter.
Is the light shining on him with it?
I don't know. Now they're searching for him. You got that guy, his hands are looking at me.
Oh my gosh. He's got so much. I mean, is it the concussion? I don't know what it is.
Too many elbows.
12 to 6 elbows, top of the head.
Nebraska shirt.
Booing me and flipping me off and kind of talking trash before the fight. But I was really focused on what I had to do. Then after the fight, his friends cheering and he's still flipping me off and saying some pretty disrespectful things. I guess he doesn't like Nebraska is what it boils down to. So what a bizarre way to end that fight. What a bizarre way to end his career. So absolutely just bloody and battered. And
that's a brutal one. So he's from Nebraska too, so I don't know if he
see.
Felt like the guy was should have been friendly because he was a Nebraska fan.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. I did not see that he's actually from Nebraska. So, wow, jeez. So it says he finished him under a hailstorm of grounded elbows at the 403 mark of the opening round to send him into retirement on a 3-fight losing streak. So, I mean, he was obviously retiring because he's losing, and he'd been, he could feel his body better than anybody. He must have known that it was time. Clearly, he's not up for it.
All right. Recognize Father Time.
Let's see, what else do we got? You actually know a little bit about this story already, whereas I'm just kind of hearing it from you.
Yeah, I mean, he's son of Deion Sanders, Hall of Famer, so genetically he should have success, and he was pretty good in college, so but I think a lot of it was his, it's his attitude, the kind of cockiness coming out. I think a lot of people saw that and recognized that.
Yeah, he clearly has been humbled.
And because of that, he slipped. I mean, they were, originally they were talking about it being a first-round draft pick, and that didn't happen, and then day 2 didn't happen, and day 3, and then he ends up falling to the Browns, and they picked 2 different rookie quarterbacks, drafted them.
Right.
Apparently, the last time that happened was the Redskins picked up. They drafted Robert Griffin and Kirk Cousins, which I didn't realize.
That's within our lifetime. That wasn't.
Yeah, it was 2012.
Yeah, no, that's too long ago. I know how you'd seen some stuff about that. Yeah.
Usually, if you draft a quarterback, that's the guy you want to start either then or in the future. So having 2, kind of strange.
Yeah. So I was wondering, what is this here? This is kind of what you were mentioning earlier. That is this the guy's son?
Yeah. So that Jeff Ulbrich is he's like the GM, I believe, of the Falcons.
I see.
Defensive coordinator.
So
and his son Jax somehow got the phone number of Shedeur Sanders and then prank called him like as if he was going to be drafted on Friday night. So that would have been first-round pick.
Wait, so what team is he the defensive coordinator?
Falcons.
Oh, I see. And then Shedeur, it was drafted by the Browns.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an interesting story. How many times have we been here where a person that has maybe a lot of hype or a story surrounding their name, particularly maybe even at this position, a quarterback or running back or whatever, is drafted by the
Browns?
Right. Because they're always having high draft picks.
Yeah.
Which if I thought I saw something that said they only had like 7 picks total.
Mm-hmm.
But their first pick was 5th overall, which they took a linebacker or something.
Yeah, something like that. Edge rusher.
Yeah, their first guy. So they went was linebacker, and then they took.
Their defense hasn't been the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So then they pick Shedeur, which usually they'll have a high draft pick. 5 is not the highest, but still fairly high.
That's pretty high.
It's still, pretty high. So they had a fairly high draft pick, which this time the draft pick, the high one itself, wasn't the one with the drama surrounding it. It was the guy picked in the 5th round. But, I mean, is he going to be starting?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the question. They've got 5 quarterbacks
on
roster, including Joe Flacco, who
is
on his 10th team or some shit.
Well, so what would you do with 5 quarterbacks? Obviously, you're going to be using some of those for,
yeah. So I mean, if you go down the line,
bargaining, right?
You go down the line with them. I mean, you got Deshaun Watson. I don't know if you're familiar with his situation coming out of Houston, but
not fully.
He has like a dozen or more allegations against him from physical therapists.
It's sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
And so he got suspended for that, but then the Browns picked him up from Houston, which I'm sure Houston felt like that was a godsend. And then the Browns, I mean, paid just at the time. I think they made him the highest paid quarterback, which was ridiculous. this because it was a guy who was coming off, this whole situation, which, whatever the Me Too feelings are, is like, okay, that's that's just shady at best, but paid him a lot of money. So they've got him. He's basically injured. I don't think he's really going to be playing this year at all. And then they've got
Deshaun Jackson won't be playing.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he'll be playing. And then they've got Joe Flacco, who's previous Super Bowl
he's pretty old
winner,
though.
but he's pretty old. I mean, he won a Super Bowl in 2012.
I mean, what do you do with him? Is he one of the guys you trade off? If he's worth anything?
Yeah, I mean, they just picked him up this offseason, so I think they kind of intended him to be like their veteran presence a little bit. Which then I guess makes sense why they drafted a quarterback, but they drafted 2 quarterbacks.
Maybe he starts game 1. Well, who was their quarterback then last season, their starter? It was Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, he played some games, but he got hurt, and then I think it was Jameis Winston.
That was their starter, was Jameis Winston.
Turned into the starter, yeah. I think he played most of the year with him. I believe it was Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston was he didn't play for Buccaneers, did he?
He did, yeah.
He did.
Yeah. But one of the years he was with them was pretty wild. He threw like 33 touchdowns, but 30 interceptions or some shit. It was like basically 1-to-1 for touchdowns and picks.
Was that like his first or just like, second year or something like that, sophomore year?
Yeah, I mean, it was
that's an interesting statistic.
It's a brutal one.
I feel like there
high
was
touchdowns, but
reminds me of some other quarterbacks from back in the days. They call them gunslingers, basically, right?
Yeah, Brett Favre and shit.
Yeah. Let me check this thing, make sure she's still running.
Yeah, Buccaneers for 4 years, Saints for 3, Cleveland last year, Giants this year. Yeah, it was 2019. He was his last year with Tampa Bay, and his 5th year in the league. He threw 626 passes, 5,109 yards.
Nice.
33 touchdowns, but 30 interceptions.
Yikes.
Took 47 sacks and had 12 fumbles.
Oh, 47 sacks. Okay, so I mean that starts to explain the interceptions, though.
Yeah, I mean it's like 3 sacks a game.
So the line's collapsing.
He threw 30 picks, fumbles 12 times and loses 5 of them. So really he had 35 turnovers to 33 touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown, actually. So 34 touchdowns to 35 turnovers.
Wow. One of the shocking slides in NFL draft history ended in the 5th round as Cleveland Browns traded their 166th and 192nd picks
to
the Seahawks to select Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders with the 144th choice. Marked the end of a free fall that saw Sanders, who's regarded as one of the top quarterbacks in the class, go from a potential first-round pick to a day 3 selection. They spent
significantly less money.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So then the Browns spent extensive time with Sanders through the pre-draft process. Large contingent of Browns coaches, execs, and the ownership group traveled to Boulder, Colorado, to have dinner with him and his former teammates.
Travis Hunter went number 2.
Yeah, and I think you were telling me about that guy too.
Yeah, he's the one that likes to play both sides of the ball.
Yes, very interesting kind of guy. So, and we were saying he's probably more than likely going to go defense.
Yeah, I don't.
Cornerback was it?
The team may let him have some offensive packages, but there's 0 chance he takes snaps on both sides of the ball.
Cornerbacks are just so valuable.
Well, and there was a lot of good receivers in this draft, so they don't need him to be that. They need him to be a top flight corner.
So it comes at an inflection point for the Browns franchise. Yep, they called. So what is the we're using now? Isn't that the article here we're reading?
So quarterback Deshaun Watson, which cost Cleveland 3 first-rounders and a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. A big swing and a miss. Marked the first time anyone within the organization publicly acknowledged that the trade failed. Despite 3 seasons of evidence on the field, it was a failure.
Oh man, that's got to be pretty.
One of the league's worst quarterbacks since moving to the Browns, and he's going to miss most of this year. joins a remodeled room that also has Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. So there's 5 QBs. Kenny Pickett's only in like his second or third year. Now there's 2 rookies.
Oh, jeez. And how do they feel? Obviously, as we already said, he has trading potential. But how's he going to feel if Kenny Pickett somehow becomes the next Tom Brady?
Yeah, well, and Kenny Pickett won a Super Bowl ring with the Eagles last year, backup quarterback.
Oh my gosh! So he's got a ring.
Yep, he's got a Super Bowl ring. He's already sitting pretty.
Oh boy, I can already see a feud between Kenny Pickett and Shedeur. Picking Gabriel over Sanders in the first round was a widespread surprise, but the Browns trading up to take Sanders 2 rounds later usurped that. To general manager Andrew Berry, it came down to maximizing value with a pick at the game's most important position. Berry on Saturday acknowledged that he didn't enter the draft expecting to take 2 quarterbacks, but was flexible as it unfolded. Entering day 3, he had discussions with his staff about the possibility of targeting Sanders if he continued to fall in the draft. After teams selected multiple players whom the Browns were interested in, Berry said he ultimately decided there was too much value in selecting Sanders to pass up. Once it got to the point where it felt like it was a pretty steep discount, we just felt like, especially relative to the alternative ways that we could use this selection, this made the most sense. So yeah, I mean, we've pretty much already discussed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, the price difference between a 5th rounder and really even like a second or third rounder, I think, is fairly large. But from a first rounder, especially, is a huge difference, millions and millions of dollars. So,
and what's the total rounds?
7.
7, yeah. So I mean, the guy who's expected to go as one of the first guys ends up going in almost the last,
Pick 100,
end of the draft.
144.
So that's going to be an interesting one to play out. And then you said Deion Sanders is a coach, though.
Yeah, for Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah. Wow. All right, so let's see what else we got here. I am also video. I love these games, dude, are just so absurd now. Of course, the advertisements are going to all be AI, and whatever they're showing. I mean, whatever little clickbait game you're playing does not look like that.
Right.
Click this, refill, wait 2 days, or pay us money, and you can play your thing faster.
With all the crazy technology we deal with today on a daily basis, I often find myself wondering what these brave soldiers from the past would think about our modern way of life. Oh, wait a second, those aren't real soldiers. All those pictures are AI generated. Now, you may not have heard about this because nobody's talking about AI right now. In fact, I'm probably the first one to make a video here on YouTube about AI, but generative AI has really been taking off lately. It's getting faster, cheaper, and scarily good at creating realistic photos and videos.
It's got one of those
Calling out
round
fake historical
ice
media
cubes.
has always been
I
a staple
know,
of my
yeah.
page, and in the past, I've covered
So
pictures from
special
historical
machine
reenactments, war
carves
movies,
that for
and
you,
even
or what?
pictures of action
Get,
figures that have been passed off as real historical photos.
They're single
But
ice
now
cube,
AI is
like a
starting to
tray,
blur the
but it's
lines of
container
reality
that
in ways that
comes in
we've
half,
never
and you
seen
pour water
before.
in the
Today,
center.
I want to cover some of the ways that I've encountered AI being used to alter the
Oh,
past,
really? Okay.
why
Fancy
this
little
is
ice cube
dangerous,
things,
and
yeah.
believe it or not, I'll even cover some
I had one
uses
that
for
did skulls,
generative
like
AI
four
relating to
little
history
individual
that I
skulls
think
and
can be
shit.
good.
I've
Before we
seen
start,
the
let me quickly
skulls
remind you
on
that you only have a few
videos,
days
but
left to
it's been a
enter the
while.
World War II 1903 A3 promotion by
Yeah, the big
clicking
one
the
was
link
kind
in
of
the
cool.
description
It
to
was
go to
like perfect size to fit in the big water
fandom.com/wisdom.
bottles that I
Now,
have.
unfortunately,
So
to
I'd fill one of those
understand
and
this AI nonsense, I think we need to start by talking about the AI cesspool that is Facebook. Facebook has become
I'm
ground
glad you
zero
mentioned
for
that.
all types of
Right. I mean, look at this
AI-generated
shit.
slop, but I especially see a
I don't
lot
know.
of
I'm about
content
ready
on
to
there
delete mine.
related to history and the military. Let's get into
I
how
realized about the only
Facebook
thing I
created
use
the
it for is the
perfect storm for this AI
Yes.
garbage to exist, so we can understand why these
Like
fake
Marketplace and
historical
that.
posts
I
are
don't know.
being
Every
shared
now and
in
then
the
I'll see
first
like
place.
some meme or some
Oh, by the
shit.
way,
There's a
my
couple
awesome
like
editor
comic
is
strippy
traveling
ones
right now, so
I
I'm
follow.
editing this one
Like
by
there's one that's
myself.
called
It's going really well, but don't expect any super fancy animations or anything. Okay, I'm not Michael Bay over here. Okay, back to the video.
Strange Planet.
Wow, what a slick
I think they made a
transition.
show of it
The
on
first
Apple
reason
Plus,
why
too.
Facebook is
Sounds
perfectly
familiar.
suited for these AI posts is that unlike most other platforms, you can monetize photo posts on Facebook. It's much easier to set up AI to generate
Forgot
and
about
post
that.
these photos compared to other platforms like TikTok and YouTube, where
So they're
generally you have to
incentivized
post a video
because
in
they
order
can
to
monetize their
post. Second,
photos
Facebook's
to
older and
make
international
to
user
pass
base is
a
often
AI
more
photo
likely
off
to
as
fall
real.
for these AI fakes. The comment sections of these posts
Because
are
you can
generally
use AI
filled
to
with
make a
supportive
more
comments from
clickbaity,
elderly
worthy
people,
picture.
people who aren't viewing
Lost
content in
World
their
War
native
II,
language,
you know,
and
picture
bots.
showing
Keep
this.
in mind,
That's
if
probably
their
what
page
he's
is
leading up to.
monetized, they're making money off of all those comments. And third, Facebook's content enforcement is very lax. They seem to have no interest in labeling or removing AI
So
content,
all
which
Facebook
most
cares
other
about is money
platforms
at
have
this
taken
point.
steps to do.
They make so
All
much
right,
money
now
from
let's take a look at some
advertisements.
examples of fake historical photos that I
I've
encountered while
reported
roaming
plenty
the
as AI.
unforgiving
That's-
trenches of Facebook. I
Zero
grouped these into
changes.
categories so we can take a look at a few different post formulas that these AI history pages typically use. This first affront to the eyes is an AI-generated copy of a real photo from World War II. And the caption on these types of posts is typically the original caption from a real World War II photo. These are super common, and this type of post is just very
Right, it's
perplexing.
basically
In my mind, it seems that it would have been much
scene.
easier to
It's
just
just not
post
the
the
scene.
actual World War II picture. Most
You
of
gotta
these
make it
photos
anyway.
are in the public domain, so it's not like there are any copyright issues. Not that these pages would
Well,
probably
it's
care
not
about that
copyright,
anyway.
but
The
moral
original
and
photo
ethical
probably
issues.
would have
Right.
generated more engagement and wouldn't have required all that extra effort. But instead, they take an original photo and caption, use AI to generate a weird version of that photo, and then upload it with the caption from the original photo. I would guess that the reason
Is
why
that a
this doesn't make a
second
lot of sense is because
fucking
that decision was
cannon on the
probably made by
tank?
the AI bot that's programmed to upload stuff on these pages. I really don't think there are people out there prompting AI to generate weird copies of these historical photos so they can post them as if they were the real thing, or at least I hope not. The next category is what I call patriotism farming. These are posts meant to farm engagement by kind of guilting people into sharing, liking, commenting on the post, because if they don't, they might feel like they don't care about their veterans or their country or whatever. Some of these posts share real stories of veterans accompanied by weird AI-generated photos, while others just post something vaguely war-related that's clearly fake. These are very similar to the posts you've probably seen where it's like an AI-generated old person with a caption saying that you need to wish them a happy birthday or thank them for their service or something.
It clearly AI generated.
Right. Well, you got the guy. He's the oldest person ever, but nobody's
These are
familiar
very
with him.
popular. If you
Yeah.
ever go on
He's
Facebook,
the oldest
you've
person
probably
is in the
seen
Guinness
people
Book of
unironically
Records.
sharing
This
these
man's not
posts.
just gonna be
This
floating
last
around
category is
unknown.
probably the one that's at the highest risk of causing real problems.
Airbrushed
These are just
photo
fake
with the same
historical photos,
the
often with
Candlestick
no
generic
reality
AI
whatsoever.
photo palette.
As usual,
Yeah.
most look pretty bad, but some look very believable at a
130
glance. To make things worse, these pages often post a mix of real and AI-generated photos, sometimes in the
course.
same post, so it just
Any
blurs
liar
the lines
mixes a
even
little bit of
further.
the truth.
Like I said,
Yeah.
Facebook is the
Any good
epicenter
liar.
for this AI epidemic, but these types of fake historical photos pop up in all types of other places too. Every other social platform has their own version of this problem, and I've also seen this a lot lately from stock photo websites, which often have their own embedded AI tools. When you Google image search something history related, there are often suggested results from
So
these
you can
stock
tell
photo
his
websites that are
video's
fake
been
AI
edited over
generated
time because
photos,
he's already
which
lost
some
his
people
ice
might
cube.
mistake for the real
And it's
thing.
5
So
minutes
what's the
into it.
impact of this in
It's
your
basically
cares if
gone.
someone
It's like
wants
that
to
would
make
not
silly
happen.
vintage AI photos?
That shit
He had a
would
whole
take time.
5-minute
These
like
photos really
tangent.
can
He went
blur
off.
the
He
line
just
between
decided I'm gonna edit.
historical fact and fiction. I mean, studying the details of historical photos is one of the best tools we have to learn things about the past. I look at World War II
I know,
images
I've
all
gotten
the time
so
to
over
figure out
AI
what
at this point.
weapons and
At first, I
resources
remember
troops
like
had
the
available for
mystique and
specific battles, which
the like
troops were
nuance
present
of
for
it, and
specific
it was
events,
just
and
so
much more.
exciting. And I
Inserting
was
fake
using it
images into the
for
mix can
pictures and stuff
seriously
just for
alter
like
how we
entertainment
understand these
purposes.
important historical
Now it's
events.
like I'm so
I
sick
know
of
we
it
all
because I
love to
see it
think we're immune to
constantly, and
falling
it's
for
just
these
like
AI
used
posts, and a lot of them are
in
very
just
obvious,
this
but AI
dystopian
just
manner.
keeps getting better and better,
still
and it
just the
also keeps
beginning.
being used
Yeah.
in new ways where we don't even think
I
to
don't
look
remember who I
out
was
for.
watching that was
Sure,
talking
there are
about
certain
it.
groups of
Like, the
people.
stuff that you're seeing right now is AI at its very worst. It will only get better from here. Like, this is it at its infancy. That's the reason that it's shitty, and people call it out for extra fingers and whatever, blah blah blah. And it's like in another fucking 5 years, 10 years.
Well, I mean, it's going to change. What was the? There used to be some sort of a saying that like the camera doesn't lie or something like that.
Yeah.
So like certain sayings now are going to go obsolete.
Right.
At some point,
And
it was
there's going to
uploaded
be, you
online,
know, new
probably by the
things like
photographer who took it. But then this
uh,
photo got
are
reshared
photos
without the context that it was from a
what
real
value are
actor.
they
As
going to
soon
have
that
as
happened
evidence?
once, all bets are off.
Right.
Tons of
Well,
other
and even
pages
as
then
they
grabbed this
create
photo and
things
started
that,
sharing it,
you know,
often
better
with
and
their
better
own
software to
captions added
detect
to it.
AI,
Some even
people are
included the
just going
name
to
of a
create
real
better and better
101st
AI
Airborne
to not be
soldier from
detected.
World War II and claim
You
that the
know, I
photo
mean,
was of him.
there's
After
almost
a
even an
while,
uncanny
sellers
valley
on
with it,
eBay
where
who
it's
sell
like at
prints
some
of
point
photos
it
listed the
just kind
photos
of
for
will be
sale, claiming that they were
indistinguishable.
real
Yeah.
Like for
photos
stuff
from
like this,
World
it's
War
like,
II. Now,
okay, well,
this
far
photo
back
is
enough
one
in
of the
history, they
top
obviously
search
didn't have
results when you
pictures of
look
this
for
good
pictures
quality,
of
and
the
that is
101st
impossible.
Airborne
Right.
during
We know
World War
that,
II,
but
and the average
Yeah.
person would have no idea that
But
this was
the
taken at a
human
reenactment.
assistance as
Even
well
if you
can
tried to
go in.
research this
Yeah.
photo,
So,
you'd find
so
countless posts from people over the
and
years
then
claiming
some
that
of
it's
them
real. I
just
would love to
purely
say this is
AI stock,
uncommon, but there
no
are
going in and
numerous
adding
examples
filters
of
or
this
anything,
happening
though.
with
It looked
photos
pretty
online,
believable.
and over time, these pictures essentially become indistinguishable from the real ones. These AI history pages are relatively new, so I don't think many of their photos
Yeah,
have
that's
had the
completely
time to
wrong.
go through
I
that
don't even,
cycle yet,
I don't
but
see any
believe
of it
me, they will.
already.
Even some of those AI
Dude, I
photos that
think
aren't
he's
super
drinking
convincing
alcohol.
now,
No,
when they get
it
I mean,
shared
good for
over and
him.
over again
Good for
and
him.
the quality is
He's
reduced
going
and people
for
add
the.
He's
filters
got
and
a
stuff like that,
It's
theme
the
it
or
can
look,
make it
whatever.
yeah.
harder to pick
It's,
out
you
those
know,
His
identifiable AI
aesthetic.
the
features in
retired
the
rich
photo.
man or
In
whatever
fact,
in his
covering up
study.
those distinguishable AI
The
features is one of the
Tumblr
main
and
Well,
reasons
his
why
study
AI
happens to
historical
be, I
photos
don't know
are
what
often
that
so
is, like
hard
a
to identify
military
in the first place. I
tent.
remember at some
Right,
point
that's what it
hearing
looks
someone
like.
talk about how some of the most convincing AI
What they call
photos
that
and videos
material,
are
but
those
yeah.
that are made to look like they were taken by security cameras, because we're all used to seeing low quality security camera videos, and that lower resolution can hide a lot of the telltale
Yeah.
signs of AI. I think this is even more applicable with historical photos,
That's the
because
thing,
old film photos
is that
are
lower
often grainy
resolution
and
kind of like
sometimes
helps.
damaged, and that can hide
And
a
the
lot
AI
of
does a
secret
good
little
job
more
of
consider that
replicating.
some of the most famous real photos of D-Day look like this. It's easy to see how a blurry AI photo could be mistaken for a real one and distort our view of what happened in the past. Take a look at this slightly grainy photo, for example, and see how many of the typical AI identifiers you can spot before I point them out. All right, did you find anything? Well, I hope not, because that's a real World War II photo. I would guess that a lot of you were starting to pick apart and question some of the details in that photo, which is completely understandable. It just goes to show how AI is distorting historical reality. The real stuff
Making the
starts
real
to
stuff
look fake, and the
questionable.
fake stuff
Well,
is
yeah,
looking
that's
more
the
and more
thing.
That's
real.
the problem.
Lately,
That's
I've been seeing a
real,
lot of comments
and I
on
feel
posts
that
of
myself.
historical photos
Like I see
accusing them
stuff
of
and
being
all the
fake
time I'm
when
like,
they're
well, fuck.
very
Now I
real.
gotta go
These
check something
commenters are
else.
probably skeptical
Like I
because
can't. I
maybe
see
they've been
trailers for
fooled by
stuff, and
fake
I'm like, I
historical
can't.
Yes.
photos
Yes.
before.
I can't
And
even
it's good
trust
to be a
that
bit
without
skeptical,
finding something.
but
Where
this
is
can
it? Is it on
also
IMDb?
discredit
Like,
real
is
historical
It's
photos
made
actual
the
because
information
tech
AI
about
is
in
it?
what you're
introducing
seeing
fake
with your
ones.
eyes
We
and
risk getting to a
hearing with
point in
your
the
ears
future
on a
where
screen.
people
It's
can just
made
write
that
off any historical
your
photo they
trust
disagree
drops
with
so
by
much
claiming it might be
more. Where,
AI.
yeah,
We've
I
already seen the
constantly
trend
see
lately
images
of
or videos
politicians
or
and public
trailers or
figures
whatever, and I'm
casting
questioning
doubt on
whether
anything
it's
that makes
real.
them look bad by implying that it might be AI
Well, lots of
generated.
things are,
Now let's move on to
you know,
talking a bit about what we can do
similar, but
about all this to
not
at least
that
slow down
ridiculous.
the
You know, I'll
growth
see
of
stuff
this
that's like
fake
about
AI
plants and
history.
stuff
First,
about it,
do
you know,
not
or like
engage with AI historical
weather
content.
phenomena and
Doing
stuff,
that
and they
makes
always
money
like
for the
end up
people who
having very
posted it and for the
exaggerated
platform
features. It's like
hosting
if
it.
you look
It
it
just
up,
perpetuates
it's
this weird
similar,
AI
but
ecosystem. I think the
not that
platforms should
much.
create better
They
guidelines
have
on
these like I
AI
can't remember the
usage,
name of them. They're
but
like
they
a
aren't
type of
going to do
orchid, I
that if
think.
they keep
They
making
call
a
them like
bunch of money
monkey
off of people
flowers or
consuming
something.
the stuff.
It kind of
Next,
blooms
I'd
in the
say
way it
view
looks
any
kind of
historical media with a
kind of
hint of
resembles like the head or
skepticism
face
and
of a monkey,
consume
but
historical content
they had
from
these posters and it was
reputable
like, oh, check
history
out the
pages.
monkey flowers
There
or
are
whatever,
a
and it was
ton of
like
great ones
super
out there
like
to choose from. If
monkeyed
you
out, and
find
it
a
was
page
like
that's
it's like
hosted
I
by a
worked in a
real
fucking
person
nursery
or
for
that's
years. I know what
affiliated
these
with a
things look
reputable
like.
institution
They
like a
aren't that
museum, or
hardcore.
that just
But
posts
even then, I was like,
information
man,
that
I
you
gotta
can
get like so I
verify with
It
other
looks
sources,
exactly
Google
like a
image
it's
search,
monkey.
and I'm
pretty
like,
good
okay,
signs that the page is at
those
least
were
more
very
reputable than the faceless profiles you come across.
The fastest growing snack category in the
That's the
United
thing is
States
all
is
you
meat
know.
sticks.
Plenty of
But
people
what
don't know
usually
that. That
happens
doesn't
when a
stop them
product
from engaging in these in these things,
And
these
finally,
posts.
talk to the people in
Exactly.
your lives who
It's
fall
a
into the
monetary gain.
demographics that are generally
But I
more
think that's
likely to be
the
tricked
main
by
motivation.
AI.
You know, it's
Children,
like
the elderly, sometimes sometimes
And we live in a
feel
day
more
and
confident
age where,
speaking
like,
their native language. These are
that
often the
seems to
most likely
trump
people to be
anything.
duped by AI.
And then even, like,
We've
being,
talked
like, a
about how this
father
technology
myself,
is
and I've heard
dangerous
other
and
people,
how
like,
it's
kind of say
scary and
these
it's going to
things.
take over the world and rule
Is
over
it's
all of us
like,
someday, blah, blah,
you know,
blah.
oh,
But
you're
I'd like to end
taking
on
care of
something
your
a bit
family,
more
right?
optimistic. Are there
So
any
you
good
shouldn't,
uses for AI
like, there's
when
kind
it
of a
comes to historical
pressure
media?
almost
Well, in
sometimes
my
for
opinion,
fathers, it
absolutely.
seems,
My favorite
that
application for AI in
you
this
should
space
put
has
your
been for
morals aside when
restoring
it
and
comes to
upscaling
work and stuff
historical
for providing
photos
for
and
your
videos.
family. And
If you guys haven't seen this, it's pretty incredible, and I highly recommend checking out
Now
some
even just
YouTube
putting your
videos
own,
of this
like,
when you have the chance.
welfare
Basically, there are
aside
programs
to
out there that use
overwork.
AI to enhance the quality and frame rate of
I like when
historical
they do that
footage.
kind of
Some
stuff.
turn out way
The
better
AI
than
was
others,
able
but
to
I've
add
seen some
color to a
really
lot
good
of old
ones out there that make
footage.
100-year-old videos look like they were recorded with modern technology.
So this
I do
last
still
part
think
is him
we should
talking
be
about it
careful
actually
with
being
this
like
stuff
reasonable
because you are
use.
generating
think
new
so.
pixels and frames when you use these tools, but generally it doesn't affect the content of the footage. I've heard of similar technologies being used to restore
like an
historical
ethical way to
documents,
use it or
and
whatever.
again, as long as it isn't changing the content of the document, I think that's great. Another popular use I've seen lately is using AI to animate historical photos into moving clips. And I'm still not quite sure how I feel about that one. Honestly, I find some of these a bit weird and creepy, but there have been some very popular uploads of these online, so clearly some people really like them. If these animations are helping some people connect with the past and better relate to the people in these photos, I think that's a great thing. In my opinion, one of the hardest
It
parts
reminds
about
me of,
teaching history is
I think
getting
it's like Harry
others to
Potter or
view these
something, and they have, like,
historical
moving
figures as regular people
paintings.
like the ones we interact with
Yes,
today. I've seen a
okay,
lot
yep,
of posts
I
where people
remember
say
now.
they imagine anything before
I
a
feel like
certain date happening in black and white, and even though I know those
Ghostbusters kind
people
of
are
have that
mostly
thing going
kidding,
on too.
it really can be
Maybe.
easy to
Maybe it
feel
was just ghosts
disconnected from the
hiding that
past
thing.
when we're only
Yeah.
seeing it in grainy black and white footage. It can be hard to imagine what it would have been like to be there for the Hindenburg disaster, for example, when we've only seen it in spotty old footage. If AI can help people relate to the
Well, yeah, I
past by
mean,
turning this grainy old footage into something
how long
like
until
this
that's
while
questioned to
preserving
be
the
a
original
real
content,
thing? You know?
I think that's great. After all, making
I'm
the
watching
past
this
more
footage right
relatable
now.
to
I
people
find myself
today is one of the main reasons I
Mhm.
make these videos. Now, what do you guys think? I've heard so many mixed opinions on AI as it relates to history. Do you think this won't really change much because the technology to alter historical photos has already been around for decades? Do you think AI will permanently blur the line between
Yeah,
what
we're already
happened and what
seeing,
didn't?
I mean,
Please let me
pretty
know your
evident
thoughts in
it's
the comments.
different
I'm
than
really
that.
interested
Right. I mean,
to see
sure,
some more
people have always
opinions on
made
this.
counterfeits.
Also, I want to
and
give a
stuff,
huge
but that's
thank you to my
not-
Have
top
you
tier
always been able
supporters
to
on
know how to make
Patreon, Corey
counterfeits?
Muller, Emily
Now?
Hensley,
Anybody
NCR
can
Trooper
go
Scout,
on
and
and
World War
No,
Historian.
like if I
be
told
made
you,
Thanks for
dude,
having
I
my
need you
back,
to make
guys. I
me a
really
counterfeit
appreciate it.
photo
With
of
that
it,
said,
like
thanks for
Right.
watching.
you wouldn't even
Remember to
bat
think
an
a
eye.
brave
Not
AI
really.
veteran
Like,
on
yeah,
Facebook,
dude, I
and I'll
got
see
you. I know
you
what
in
to
the
do.
next one.
Homeless dude on the street with a
It's hard to
smartphone in
place
his
in
hand.
words the
Yo, dude,
violence
can
that
you
happens
freaking
time.
can you
Families
give me
coming
this
to the
fake
emergency
picture,
department,
bro?
Hire
injured,
homeless dudes
killed.
on Fiverr to
Stories
boost your
of a
content.
father walking around barefoot, definitely.
Oh goodness. Maybe we just watch this trailer here and then kind of we can gloss over that and then maybe call it a day. I want to see this trailer anyways.
More recent.
We've been gone a long time.
Definitely subtitles.
We back now.
Oh.
You twins? Nah, we could.
It's already got kind of like a harder they fall.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that one.
I did not see how harder they fall. So what it was making me feel like was what was that Shia LaBeouf one where they were moonshiners?
The bootleggers.
Lawless.
Yeah.
It's giving me Lawless / Salem's Lot vibes, but I did not see Harder They Fall. Was that supernatural?
No, just with the opening here with the guys, because it's the kind of old school and
Right.
It's all black dudes and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that Michael B. Jordan?
We've been gone a long time.
Yeah. So Creed and
We
stuff.
back now.
Yeah.
You twins? Nah, we cousins.
Oh wait, is he playing two
There are
different people there?
legends of people with the gift of
Was
making
it?
music
It looks
so
like it.
true. It can conjure
said it,
spirits
right.
from the
Yeah.
past and the future. This gift can bring fame and fortune.
Will somebody take me in your arms?
But it also can pierce the veil between life and death.
Listen here. This ain't no house party. Shit. Y'all ready to drink?
It's interactive
Y'all
too.
ready to
It's
swing
free.
Right,
y'all
yep.
stank?
And Black Panther.
You want some?
You keep dancing with the devil.
Careful, boy.
You gonna bite off more than you can chew.
One day he's gonna follow you home.
Jedediah.
What the hell going on?
Oh, we heard tale of a party.
Oh, is that the Hobbit guy?
This world already left you for dead. I can save you from your fate.
You don't need no saving.
Yes, you do.
And you are?
I am. Your way out.
I don't think it's Hobbit. Yeah.
Don't cry. He's all better now.
Yes, I lied to you. I don't believe in magic. Ghosts, demons. Just power.
Somebody
I like her costumes. I was like period films and like the costumes and the dress. Oh, yeah.
We're gonna kill every last one.
There's that girl he said he was going to save or whatever. She's evil now. That's daytime and he's shooting his gun. Who is he shooting at?
I didn't mean to scare you. I thought y'all forgot about me in here. Come on, open the door, let on out of here. Stay.
Uh-oh.
It's you? Of course it's me. Open the door.
That ain't your brother.
Well, that's messed up.
lied to you.
Yeah, that's always the thing about those, like, the films where you contract something.
Yo, smell anything? I think I shot myself.
That's those things about those films where you contract something, whether it's a zombie, vampire, werewolf, whatever. You get a loved one that's like, all of a sudden, just because of what something happened to them that they've been afflicted with, they potentially become like an enemy.
I wonder if that was Michael B. Jordan in both roles, though.
Oh, it had to be.
Yeah, I think so.
Had to be. That's why they, I think, had the
It didn't mention anybody
oh,
else.
look, twin brothers, Jordan.
Yeah.
So one name, twin brothers.
Yeah. Could be Michael B. Jordan.
So-
That's funny.
And then you said it was a weird name. What was
It's called Him.
that? Him. Yeah. You said him, and I'm thinking, you say him, I think her.
Right.
That one movie, the robot thing. The AI.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, and the girl, obviously you don't see her face or whatever, but
I think back to that emo band.
him official teaser trailer. So this was a new one that's not even out yet.
Right.
Yeah, and the other one's actually in theaters.
This one looks pretty wild, though. And I like football, so it's
Oh, of course.
But it's got Damon Wayans though in like a serious role.
If you want to try
Like,
Okay.
he's from fucking Scary Movie and shit.
Right.
You have to dig deep. Your mind and your body have to be in sync.
He's the trainer guy.
Talent is how hard you're willing to work. No days off. No sleep. We grind. I'm never good enough. I'm never good enough. That's how great people think.
Ooh.
Supposedly they used some kind of, I forget the camera capture that they used for that, but
So you're gonna have to ask
it's
yourself,
real footage of it, and then it's some kind of like, I forget
what
what
am
it's
I
called.
willing to sacrifice?
Yeah, they did some sort of like damage.
This is a fucking game, man. This is everything. Do you want this?
So he's hallucinating after this. It looks like an injury.
Sounds
He's
good.
leading
Well,
to
he's at this like compound too. So
mental
I think
break.
they're like trying to like recruit him in or make him. This is real too.
Football court.
You see this shit? Yeah, he was taking the fucking footballs off
To
the
the
face
face.
from the machine that shoots him, point blank.
And show me.
Oh, they're giving him drugs. So it's a football cult. Interesting. Kind of. That's what I was getting from the idea.
Right.
Reminiscent of some
So
sort of
yeah,
a
it's
cult.
some
Savior's
It's some
fans.
cultish shit that's trying to put forward the next hymn of the NFL, I guess. Man.
Wow. Yeah.
Is that Leo?
The next it guy
That is Leo.
posted directly from him
Yeah.
on his page. One
And
battle
he has
after
12,000
another.
subscribers.
Yeah, what the heck?
That's
What the-
that seems really low for
Is this
fucking
AI?
Leo
Dude, is this
DiCaprio.
real? Bro, we were just talking about this.
It's like that's a check mark, but that ain't a blue check
my
mark. Is that
God.
legit?
In September, Shorts remixing this video. One
It's
battle
605
after
view.
another.